All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our public hearing for Hall Road Ravenna Lake Creation Project in Moorland Township, Muskegon County. My name is Jim Ostrowski. I work in Eagle's Environmental Support Division. I'll be moderating tonight and helping out in the background, so I'm glad to have you with us. We've got about 5 people signed in to this public meeting, and I'm sure there'll be a few more joining us, so kind of a smaller meeting tonight, but glad you are here. Before I introduce our Eagle staff with us, just want to run through a couple things in terms of how we're going to run it tonight. First of all, we got this meeting is really broken down into 2 parts. The first part is going to be an informational session where we're going to do a short presentation by the applicant and then allow you to ask questions, and we'll do our best to provide answers. So we'll do a Q&A session informally for as long as for about 7 or 6:30. If we get done with that earlier, that's fine. After we do our Q&A session, we're going to start the more formal part of our meeting tonight, and that's the official hearing. So if you have an official comment, that's where we're going to take your official comment is during the hearing after our Q&A. The Q&A is just more informally for questions you might have for us about the project. We'll also talk tonight about other ways you can submit an official comment. So if you don't feel like making a comment tonight during the hearing, there are a couple other ways you can do that. And we'll explain how to do that. And we'll also talk about who to contact if you have further questions. All right, I'm gonna, housekeeping details. So a lot of you may have never been on an Eagle virtual public hearing before. Just a couple guidelines. The lines remain muted until we start taking questions and comments. And at that point, if it's something you want to say, we will indicate that your line has been unmuted and will allow you to unmute. If you have a question for us during our Q&A session, you can type that into the Q&A box on your Zoom toolbar. So if you look at your Zoom toolbar, you have a little Q&A box. You'll find that there. And as with all of our public meetings, we are recording our hearing. And so once the hearing is done, usually in the next day or 2, we will post it up onto our Eagle YouTube channel. You can find it there. I will also mention that Ryan Blazik is with me today too in the background. And so if you keep an eye on the chat, he will put a couple important details into the chat, basically some links of things we'll be talking about tonight. Okay, so I'm going to turn over to our 2 Eagle staff, Chad and Audrey. If you guys want to turn on your cameras and introduce yourselves, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Chad Hipshire. I'm from the Grand Rapids District Office, and I'm the hearings officer tonight.
Hi, everyone. I'm Audrey Kirk, and I'm the district supervisor in Grand Rapids, and I have a team of 11. We administer 6 different environmental protection statutes across 9 different counties.
And we're here tonight because there's a proposed project to allow the Great Lakes Excavating Service to excavate 685,429 cubic yards of material from an upland area with 6,700,000 cubic yards being below the current water table, which is going to create a 14-acre lake. So that's what we're here to discuss tonight.
Okay, thanks, Chad and Audrey. And right now I'm going to reach out to Curtis Moran. He is from Great Lakes Excavating Services, and he is here tonight to provide a short presentation on what we're doing here. So, Curtis, are you there? Looks like you can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me, Jim?
Yeah, I can hear you. So I have got your slides here. You got about 10 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes. You can keep your presentation within that. When you're ready to change your slides, just let me know and I'll flip them for you.
I don't know that I talked to Chad about whether or not we're going to do slides or just introing the project. Okay. So I guess I'm not sure what slides.
Well, this is what was given to me. So
no, that's fine. I know that just questions about the expectation, but this is a parcel map of the property. I had somebody approach me that bought this property, and they asked about taking that little pond and turning it into something bigger, looking for a bigger body of water to have their house on. So working within the guidelines of Eagle and the township ordinances that were being created. As we were going through this process, we communicated back that we were able to create a body of water that was just under 15 acres, which is why we settled on the 14-acre mark. Explaining to the Bruins family that anything over 5 acres and above of open water would require this Eagle permitting process. With that, and I'm sure the Eagle staff can explain it in much more detail than myself, but we have to provide a hydrogeo study, which shows what happens to the groundwater as we start excavating. And that is important because of everybody's water wells that provide their houses with drinking water, etc. And you know, obviously, we want to make sure that as we're digging, we don't hypothetically pull the drain out of the proverbial bathtub. So we have Lakeshore Environmental that takes care of that study for us, and they were able to review it at Eagle. And here we are today, and I think that they'll be able to speak on that. This slide shows how we intend to phase the project, starting in the back, which would be the north side of the property, and then working our way out to the front with a large property owner neighbor that happens to own this property as well. This will limit, I guess, the roadside impact as we're digging from north to south, and then finishing up loading trucks closer to the road as we finish up there. A couple notes that I had just on some need in the area as we've been going through this permitting process. You know, somebody wants a lake, and the next step is we have to go somewhere with the sand, and that's where we get into this mining permit application process, is we have to sell it down the road just because there's not enough room on this 34 acres to be able to spread our sand around productively. Just a few things going on in the area. There is a large sanitary line that's running from Muskegon wastewater to the Fairlife processing plant in Coopersville. The landfill and the wastewater have a few improvement projects this year, and then there's a solar project as well. So the 600,000 yard number plus that Chad shared is just a fraction of the over 2.5 million yards that are being demanded, you know, 5 to 10 miles from the location of our site. So again, we spend a lot of time, money, and energy making sure that we follow all of the rules to the best of our ability. The folks at Eagle are there to help us with that and to hold us accountable. With the hydrogeo studies and some of the other environmental impact stuff that we've done with the township, we feel like we've put together a great project for somebody that wants to, you know, use their land in this manner. They want a lake, and that is something we feel like they're entitled to, and we're just helping them facilitate that and then find an end use for this resource that at this point is scarce in this area. So happy to answer any questions. Thank you, Jim, for helping me with the slides there. That worked out really nice.
Okay, thank you, Curtis. So I'll have Chad and Audrey jump on here with me. We are going to open it up for questions. If anybody has a question about this project that Eagle can answer, and if it's something we can't answer, if it's appropriate, we'll redirect it over to Curtis. So just to remind you, if you have a question, you can either type it into the Q&A box on your Zoom toolbar, or if you'd like to voice your question, you can click the raise hand icon, and that'll tell us that you want to be unmuted, and I'll call your name and I'll unmute you so you can ask your question. It looks like we do have a few people on the phone with us tonight. If you're calling in by phone only and you got a question, you can hit #2. So if you're on the phone, you can hit #2, and I will call your last couple digits of your phone number so that you can ask your question. So I'm opening up the questions right now. I'm checking my Q&A box. I don't see anything in the Q&A box yet, but I do have a hand raised. So Ryan, if you can unmute, phone number ending in 7799. So you should be able to go ahead and ask your question, phone 7799.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
So am I understanding this correctly? They're trying to say they want to make a lake, and this isn't actually a sand mining operation, that they just want a lake for recreational use. Is that what's being said right now?
Let me check in. Chad, can you explain exactly what this application entails?
The application was to mine the sand that needs to be used for some of the projects that Curtis noted that deal with multiple projects going on in the county. So they were needing sand cover material. So with the mining, it creates the lake that will be left after the mining is complete.
Okay, because the way, I'm not sure what the gentleman's name was, worded that was it sounded like they were wanting just to create this lake for their personal residence, and it was a side, it just happened, oh, well, what are we going to do with all the sand? That sounds not at all correct to me. It is a specific business that they're trying to do by mining the sand. Or did I may have misunderstood that.
Yeah, Chad, did you want to address that more or refer?
Yeah, I mean, that was our understanding, is that that the sand's being mined for use for those other projects, and in turn creates this the roughly 14-acre lake.
Okay, all right. Then then it was either presented oddly or I misunderstood what he was saying. So thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, thanks for that question. I'm going to open up some more questions if anybody else has one for tonight. Okay. I'm not seeing anyone else with a hand raised, nor am I seeing any questions in our Q&A box. That is fine. I just want to give another second here. Okay, I do have another hand raised, looks like, and a question came in. So usually if I wait a minute, people start asking questions. So this question came in our Q&A box. It says, can you elaborate on the Eagle review of the hydrogeo report? Were there comments? Did Eagle agree with the findings? So Chad?
Yes, the hydrogeo was reviewed by our groundwater group. They did not see anything that raised any concerns or anything like that we needed to have further information on. So the hydrogeo was reviewed before the public notice went out even. So we try to get all those items wrapped up before putting on notices or hearings. So again, everything was reviewed by Eagle, and there was nothing, no red flags or anything like that brought up any additional questions that the work here would have negative impacts for surrounding areas.
Chad,
Okay.
can you confirm if those comments from our staff that reviewed the hydrogeo, are those uploaded to MindBiro for the public?
I will double check. They should be uploaded into My Waters, but I will double check to make sure. And if they're not, I'll make sure to get those uploaded in there. But I thought I had everything in there, but I will double check.
And I just wanted everyone to know that that is something that is publicly available to them if they want to see the results of that review.
Yeah, thanks, Chad and Audrey. And I just asked Ryan, he just did he put in the direct link to the application documents, which are in our My Enviro system. So if you click on that link, for those of you that are online with us, you can be taken directly to those documents, and Chad's checking to see if those are on there. If not, like Audrey said, we'll be putting those in there for you. Okay, going to a hand raise. So we got a phone caller with their hand raised. Phone number ending in 2466. You can go ahead and ask your question. You're unmuted now.
Hi, I'm going back to the comment that someone else just made about the mining for the lake and not the sand. It's my understanding, I understood it the same way she did, that they were doing it for a private lake and they just needed to get rid of the sand. It's my understanding that to approve this, you have to be making a profit off the mining of the sand for it to be something that should even happen. And that was someplace in the state guidelines of making a profit for sand mining to show cause.
Do you have a question on that? Because that's a good comment. So if you have a comment, that's something you could certainly bring up in our comments when we are taking official comment. But did you have a question on that?
It's, I guess, the clarification of what the first gentleman said, that are they doing that for a private lake? Because that's how I understood it also, was that they were just trying to get rid of the sand because they were making the lake. But if it's not, if it's different, that it changes things as far as what I understand.
Okay, so the project is noted as seeking to mine critical sand and gravel to the construction industry in West Michigan, and has letters from buyers confirming their interest in the material, specifically in this geographical location, to aid their operations in Ravenna and near Muskegon. So that is part of, so they have requests for that material, and this, and again, so mining that material will create the lake. So that was part of the application, is noting that there was a need for this material, and hence, you know, again, the mining of that material will create the lake.
Yeah, that's what was submitted to us in our application, regardless of what Mr. Moran said. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes.
I was referring to Chad. So Chad, is that what you're getting at? Is that's what submitted?
Yes, that's
regardless of what Mr. Moran just stated, what you're saying, what was in the application was what you just read.
Correct.
Okay. So that's what we have as part of our application, right? Okay. Okay, looking for more questions, and thank you for your question, caller, by the way, too. Thank you, 2466. And again, if you want to raise it as a comment, that's perfectly fine. We're going to open up for comments in just a minute, official comments. Okay, I am not seeing anyone else in attendance tonight with their hand raised or any questions in our Zoom toolbar or our Zoom question box. So I am going to turn it over to Chad, and we're going to move on to the next part of our meeting, which is the official hearing. And he's going to read a very long statement to get us opened up, and then we'll start taking comments from you all. So I want to thank Curtis Moran for presenting, and I'm going to turn it over to Chad. So go ahead, Chad.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chad Hipshire. I am the district representative in the Water Resource Division of the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. I will be serving as the hearing officer for this public hearing on Eagle submission number HPYFWBWGPQ66. And again, with me tonight is Audrey Kirk, the Water Resources Grand Rapids District Supervisor, and Jim Ostrowski, the Water Resources Outreach Manager from the Lansing District Office. To describe how this is going to work tonight, I will begin with some background information about why we are here tonight. I will then describe the purpose of the hearing and how your comments will be used. Following that, I will outline the procedures under which we will take your comments and then describe what will happen after tonight's hearing. It'll then be time for you to provide comments, and we will spend the majority of time tonight listening to those comments. At the end of the hearing, I will read the closing statement. By way of background information, again, the Water Resource Division is responsible for administering a variety of programs that help protect inland lakes and streams, wetlands, floodplains, sand dunes, and the Great Lakes. These programs regulate certain activities such as dredging or filling a lake, stream, or wetland, constructing a dam, constructing a marina, placing shore protection, or constructing docks, and building in a designated critical sand dune area, wetland, or floodplain. The law governing those responsibilities is the Natural Resources and Environmental Protection Act, 1994, PA 451, as amended Act 451. We are here tonight because Larry Burns has proposed the following: to allow for Great Lakes Excavating Service to excavate 685,429 cubic yards of material from upland area, with 467,000 cubic yards being below the current water table, which will create a 14-acre lake with a maximum depth of approximately 30 feet. In order for a permit to be granted, Eagle must find the proposed activities described in the public notice meet certain criteria set by Part 301 Inland Lakes and Streams of Act 451. In general, we must consider the effect of the proposed project on streams, wetlands, and inland water bodies. When reviewing an application for permit under provision of Part 301 Inland Lakes and Streams of Act 451, Eagle is charged to make the following considerations as required by Section 301.06 of Part 301. The department shall issue a permit if it finds that the structure or project will not adversely affect the public trust or riparian rights. The department shall not grant a permit if the proposed project or structure will unlawfully impair or destroy any of the waters or other natural resources of the state. When reviewing an application for permit under provisions of Part 303, Wetlands Protection of Act 451, Eagle is charged to make the following indications as required by Section 303.11 of Part 303. A permit for an activity listed in Section 303.04 shall not be approved unless the department determines that the issuance of a permit is in the public interest, that the permit is necessary to realize the benefits derived from the activity, and that the activity is otherwise lawful. A permit shall not be used unless it is shown that an unacceptable disruption will not result to the aquatic resources. A permit shall not be issued unless the applicant also shows either of the following: the proposed activity is primarily dependent upon being located in a lake or wetland. A feasible and prudent alternative does not exist. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to give anyone interested in the permit application an opportunity to provide information that Eagle can use in making the decision whether or not to issue a permit. Please recognize that Eagle can only use the information you provide if it relates to the criteria that Eagle must use in making a decision. Some of you may simply want to express your support or opposition to the project. We will be happy to make note of your position, but please understand that Eagle is, by law, not allowed to base our decision on whether or not there is widespread support or opposition to the project. In just a moment, I will outline the procedures we will use for taking your comments. But before I do so, I need to mention that the notice of this hearing was published on MLive on Saturday, April 27th, 2024. As we discussed at the beginning of the informational session, if you have a comment to provide, raise your hand in the Zoom toolbar. To ensure that the hearing is conducted in a fair manner, we will follow these steps. First, the applicant and/or their consultant has already had an opportunity to describe the proposed project. Second, we will then call on those who have indicated in their registration that they would like to speak. After that, we will call on all those that raise their hand in their Zoom toolbar that they would like to make a comment if they haven't already been called upon. As a reminder, if you are participating in this hearing via telephone only, follow the directions of the moderator on how to identify that you would like to make a comment. You may also submit your comments to Eagle via My Enviro portal, email, or US mail. When all the comments have been completed, we will ask if anyone else would like to make a statement. When your name is called, your microphone will be unmuted. As you begin your comments, please state your name and any group or association you may represent. Each person will be given 4 minutes to make their comments. We will indicate to you when you have a minute left. Please begin wrapping up your comments at the end within the allotted time. If need be, we will indicate when your time has ended. I ask that we all be courteous and respectful to one another tonight. Please also recognize that Eagle staff is here tonight to provide a fair opportunity for those to express your comments on the proposed project and to listen to those concerns or to those comments. This hearing is being recorded, and your comments will be part of the information Eagle will consider in making its decision on whether or not to issue a permit on the proposed project. The public comment period for this public hearing is open for 10 days from the date of this hearing, ending on Thursday, May 16th, 2024. Additional information and comments submitted in writing during the 10-day public comment period will also be considered in Eagle's decision. Following the close of the public comment period, Eagle will make a decision to either issue a permit for the project as proposed, or with modifications, or send a letter of denial. You may find out what the decision is by checking the Eagle My Enviro portal website and searching for the application number HPYFWBWGPQ66. Thank you for your attention. We will begin calling the names of those who have indicated that they would like to make a statement.
Okay, thanks, Chad. Just to let you know, up on the screen, I do have the other ways to make a comment, and also Ryan put those in the chat in case you missed that. I just want to remind you that when you signed up, you had an opportunity to select whether or not you made a comment. And so there was one person here that indicated they want to make a comment. So I'm going to go to her first. And then after that, we can have you raise your hand if you want to make a comment. I think, Chad, we decided, would you say four minutes per comment? Okay.
Yes.
So what we'll do is you'll see a little timer pop up on your screen once we get started here, and it'll say 4 minutes. Let's see if I can make that come up here in a minute. And then, 4 minutes. When you're getting about a minute left, then you're going to have a little bell go off. It's going to sound like this, like that, when you have a minute left. So just that means you got to start wrapping up your comment. But we only have a few people here, so I don't think it should be that big of a deal. Like I said, we got 6 people on the line. And I'm going to go to our first person. Just want to remind you, we're just going to be here listening to your comments and taking notes and things like that. All right. So the first person that indicated they wanted to make a comment tonight was Karen Wilson. I'm going to have Ryan unmute you. So Karen, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and make your comment. Make sure you state your name again and any affiliation you might have if you have one. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for having this for us, first of all. And again, my name is Karen Wilson. I am a neighbor property directly, or part of our property is directly across from the proposed mining. Mostly my comments are, makes me really uncomfortable that we're proposing taking that much sand that goes below a lot of the wells in this area. A lot of these wells are very shallow. And I'm very anxious about what kind of recourse any of us have if this goes sideways. So there is air pollution potential with that size of an operation. What happens with our wells? It is not a great thing to have directly across from your house. And when your well is, potentially affected, I know the study says, oh, there shouldn't be anything. But I don't see, I guess I don't know what our options are if things do go bad. And that makes me very nervous. We've all lived here a very long time, and it would be really sad to see a lot of the neighbors that have been here forever be affected by something that is strictly business. And I still am trying to figure out how I can get information on the first gentleman that was talking about how they just wanted to expand the lake for basically personal use, and oh gee, and then it turned into a sand mining operation. I don't quite understand where that switch happened. So I'll be looking into a little bit more of that too. I guess that's it. Just concerned about air quality, concerned about noise quality for outside, while that is all going on. Quality of life for all the neighbors, I think will be detrimentally affected. This is not an industrial zone. This is a residential neighborhood. I just hope I hope nobody gets hurt in the long run for this, for a business decision. So I guess that's about all.
All right. Thank you for your comment tonight. Appreciate that. All right. So that was the only person who signed up when they signed up who said they wanted to make a comment. Now I'm going to open up to anybody else who's viewing tonight or listening on the phone. If you have a comment that you'd like to make, an official comment for the record, you can click the raise hand icon on your Zoom toolbar. If you're on the phone and you want to make a comment, just hit the #2 button. Again, hit the #2 button. That'll raise your hand, just like with the Q&A. And we will call on you by your last digits of your phone number so you can make your official comment that way if you'd like. So I don't have any hands raised yet. But if any of you who are online would like to make a comment, just go ahead and raise your hand and we will get to you. Just give it a couple of seconds here. All right, looks like we have a person on the phone with their hand raised who would like to make a comment. So we will unmute phone number ending in 2466. You can go ahead and make your comment. Yeah, remember to say your name, please.
Hi, my name is Cindy Cass. I live directly across from where they are going to proposed sand mine. I just want to agree with Karen did an amazing job of expressing, I think, the concerns of a lot of people in the neighborhood. She just said it best. So if my comments can be the same as hers, go for it. So yeah,
okay.
I'm just very concerned.
Thank you, and noted. Okay, thanks for your comment. Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment tonight? That's what we're here for tonight, is listen to any comments you might have. If you do have one, you can hit the raise hand icon or click #2. We do not have any other comments. We can, or if you have a comment you just don't want to say it tonight, that's fine too. Just a reminder, there's a couple of different ways to make a comment, and I'll bring those up in just a moment. Okay, Chad, looks like we have no one else that wants to make a comment tonight during the hearing. So I guess I'll turn it back over to you and you can read the closing statements.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you for your comments and cooperation. We appreciate your interest in the proposed project and that you took the time to be here tonight. As indicated at the beginning of the hearing, you may submit additional written comments until Thursday, May 16th, 2024. Following the close of the public comment period, we will consider all comments received to make a decision on the proposed project. Just to remind those that may still want to submit a comment, comments can be submitted via My Enviro portal, email, or US mail. The hearing is now closed. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks, Chad. I just want to remind everybody that the other ways to make an official comment, if you want to make one, you change your mind, you think you want to make one, You can submit it through the My Enviro portal. Ryan has put the link directly in the chat. For those of you online, though, you can go to My Enviro, it's mynenviro.michigan.gov. And then you can hit on the public comments button, I believe it is, and type in the following submission number, which is HPY-FWB as in Bravo W GPQ66. You can also submit any comments by mail to Chad Hipshire, State Office Building, 5th floor, 350 Ottawa Avenue Northwest, Grand Rapids, Michigan, 49503. All right. If you have further questions, you can contact Chad. His phone number and email address are on the screen. For those on the phone, I'll read off his phone number. It's 616-260-7271. Chad can also be reached via email at Hipshire, HIPSHIERC at michigan.gov. So I'll leave that up there for a minute. And I guess as we're wrapping things up, I'll ask Audrey, do you have any closing remarks you'd like to make to everyone here tonight?
Sure. Thank you, Jim. I just wanted to thank you all for tuning in. I know everyone has pretty busy lives, and so we always appreciate anyone who does show up to bring questions that we can help with and the comments for the official record. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Audrey. And yeah, thank you all for spending some time with us tonight and ask your questions and leaving your comment. Like I said, if you do still have a comment, I didn't mention the comment period is up until May 16th. So you could still have plenty of time to get your comment in to Chad and Audrey if you have one. Just a reminder that we did record tonight's public hearing, just like we do with all of them, and it'll be posted up on our YouTube channel. You should be able to find that by tomorrow evening. It will be up there. So thank you all for joining us tonight, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Thank you.